So what we're gonna do today is a spoken word poetry and hip hop workshop where we're gonna utilize our movements, our breath work, techniques of writing, and at the end share our poems and share our pieces so you can connect with yourself and find your true expression. So this is what we're gonna do first. I want you to all get ready in the stance. Another deep breath in. And do the best that you can and follow my movements. I want you to let go. Move with your body and breathe in. This actual technique is called the bubble technique. Here's the thing with this. What we want to do is we're going to take a big circle, right? And we're going to draw the circle and we're going to put a word inside the circle that you want to put out. Something that comes to your mind, something that you like. Now, the goal of this is to get you out of your mind and get you connected with your thoughts and be able to write them out creatively, right? So we're eventually going to write a poem and a short story from this. But what we want to do is put something in the middle that we really like. For me, I love hip hop. So that's what goes in the middle. For you, it might be a different word. It might be something else that you connect with, but that's what you're going to put right in the center of that circle. And then this is what's going to go. You're going to branch off from that circle and write another circle. The way this works is you're going to look at that word in the middle, and whatever comes to your mind that you want to write on the next one on the left, that's what you're going to put in that circle. So you'll see where I'm going with this. Hip hop. So when I look at hip hop, I think of dancing. So I put dance in the middle. Now, we're going to go and branch off another circle, right? Now, when I think of dance or hip hop, I may think of something like sneakers. And now I want to let you know there is no right or wrong way of doing this. This is all experience and learning. So if you do it in a different format, you're not wrong. But the key of this is to get as many bubbles as you can, as many circles as you can, because this is going to be your word bank. From here and all these words that we're going to come out, that's where we're going to write our poem and where we're going to write our short story from. So sneakers, for example, I think of socks. From socks, I think of laces. Now I go back to my hip hop, and that's what I want you to do with your poem. I want you to continue building circles all from this frame of mind. So I'm just gonna start building. Hip hop, I think of stage. From stage, I think of performance. From performance, I think of, and what you're starting to see is the way your neurons work. Now, what we have in our minds is called neurons, right? They're connected. There's these little transmitters in our mind that send information from one part of our brain to another. This is how we work. So what we're trying to do is tap into our neurons and the synapses and how our brains work and bring that into the physical so we can see how our creativity actually works, because everybody's smart. Everybody's brilliant. It's all about how they use their techniques and what they learn to bring that out, that brings out the best in them. So here we go. So now what we're gonna do based off of the bubble technique that we got here, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna write our poem or our short story based on the word bank that we use. So I want you to start writing sentences. I love to dance hip hop, right? Very simple. You could write it just something like that. Or you could get as creative and as poetic as you want, as in hip hop. The dance moves takes me into a place where existence itself breaks form and I become beyond myself. What we want to do is use our energy, use our voice. That's why we did all those movements to ground ourselves in, and we want to take this and make it a performance. So this is what you do. You get to play with your diction, but also with the fluctuation of how your voice moves. That's called cadence. Cadence brings authority in your speaking. So this is what I want you to do. This is going to be my example of me performing it. I love hip hop. It takes me to places that I've never been before. My flow works from the essence of what the pyramids are made from. At the river, my performances rock pens. This is why I am hip hop. So there's the hip hop, there's the poem that I wrote, there's the lyrics that I wrote, and what I'm going to do is shift real quick to a performance. So I'm going to show you an example of how this already goes into work of how I've written a poem. This poem is actually called Cosmic, and I'm going to give you a verse. Simple and plain, yo, I act to maintain. I freestyle my state of mind like the drops from the rain. I'm dropping the rage so you can see me out in a Volvo. Cruising right through the streets, nationally mobile. I'm offset, but only to get me in order. Taking picture with friends, you can see the recorder. For every quarter I make, I get back like a strobe light. Fighting the night, right? You can see me in boredom. Cause if the party's not live and H2O is not right, that means that we gotta get ourselves to the maximum portal. Out with the old new when I grow up and break dance till the moment is stronger. You saw the diagram, you saw how I love hip hop, how I put my stuff into poetry, right? But I'm gonna take it a step further for those out there who are working in school systems. This is dedicated to all the teachers, to all the writers, no matter what skill level you're in. Check this out, this is how this ends up really working. So you can write essays based off of this format right here. You can write essays to get into colleges. You can write, you know, things that you want to manifest into reality. So this is how you would work it, right? So if I wanted to do an essay and I was in school, how would I put this into action? You would take that subject in mind. If they're talking about, let's say, the Greeks, right? And let's say Poseidon. So we would put Greeks in the middle, and then we would branch off from the information that you gather while you were doing your work, right? And you would put in the bubbles all the information that you got. So it will be the Greeks, Poseidon, rivers, we would go back to the gods and so forth, depending on what your subject is, and you will make your bubble technique, and then you will create your sentences based off of that technique, so you're not relying on being stuck for a moment like, what can I write now, and having all that time pass when you could be putting it into work. So that's just an example of how this could be used in the school systems, right? One of the things that we do go into more detail is free writes. And free write, I'm going to show you an example of how free write would go. I want you to take 1 minute to 2 minutes out. Don't write anything until I say go, because this is going to be time. And the second I say go, you're going to write whatever comes to your mind as fast as you can and fill that page up with as many sentences that you can put. Now the key of this is to get you out of your mind. Sometimes you want to focus, right? We're in school, we're doing some things, and we are thinking about other thoughts that are maybe in the way of our tapping into our creativity. So this is a way to get it out on paper so we could be more mentally available. So this is called free write. Are you guys ready? As soon as I say go, you can start writing. And go! Now, one thing I do want to add is if you're stuck and you're writing and you go, oh, I don't know what to write right now. I want you to write that. I do not know what to write right now. I think my brain is stuck, and keep going and keep writing, because the key of this is to get you writing as much as you can and to get you out of your head. So just keep writing and keep writing. I'm going to do a quick recap of what we did today. We did a little bit of Qigong, Tai Chi movement just to center ourselves and connect with our bodies and to bring oxygen into our brain, because we know now through science that the more our cells are oxygenated, the better our performance could be physically, and when it comes to writing, we talk about mentally, right? So that's one. We did that. Then we got into the bubble technique, which we wrote all our bubbles down, and then we wrote our sentences to build the poem and to build the story. Then we just did the free write, and we did a performance. So that's a recap of all the things that we've done and the things that we can do all together. So once again, my name is Daniel Villegas. Thank you for coming out, for being part of this, and I look to see you soon. Peace.